Welcome back to Bajan Hotsauce videos and returning to Barbados. It's been a while since I produced a video to let you know where I am in the process. Well, as fate would have it, I've been summoned to jury duty in Washington State. And so I am on my way, I'm in transition right now, on my way back to Seattle. Currently, I am sitting in St. Louis and checking on the houses to make sure that they are winter ready, and then I will go on to Seattle in a little while. Before I take you all the way through my trip back to Seattle while I await jury duty, I want to tell you about a few things that I've been able to do in Barbados while I'm there, besides working on the house. I have started mentoring a few young people. I have met 3 businessmen that I'm working with to help them establish businesses and set up business plans and prepare for launching their businesses. So I'm really excited about that opportunity. I've met some other young men who just needed personal coaching, just needed to have a shoulder, someone to talk to, and that's been also very rewarding. So as far as I'm concerned, I am meeting my goals and expectations in Barbados, that is to help someone. And so far, I've been able to help quite a few people in different ways, and I'm really, really thankful for that. So let me tell you about my trip from Barbados back home. My trip is taking me to Miami, to St. Louis, and then on to Seattle. But let me tell you about some neat things that have happened. I made some errors along the way in booking the flight. I ended up spending 24 hours in Miami. I had to get a rental car, get a hotel. But listen, I got to spend some time with my grandsons that I haven't seen for over a year, I think it is. And what a treat. We went to the Murakami Park. They wanted to go there, and we had dinner after on, but they just had a great time just walking in the park. It's like a Zen garden and a Japanese garden, and they were so much at peace and just walking. They're growing up beautiful young men, and so I was really happy to do that. So that was one of my highlights in my trip. So after I left them, I went to the airport, West Palm Beach Airport, to fly out to St. Louis. And I was sitting on a bench trying to lie down, but my extension cord for my charger, my phone, was a little short. And this gentleman sitting across from me, he walks over and says, "I noticed you're trying to lie down, and your cord looks short. Why don't you use my cord? It's a bit longer." This is unsolicited help. Unfortunately, it was an Android and I have an iPhone, so it couldn't work. But we exchanged smiles and I thanked him, and I just lived with it. But shortly after he got through talking to me, this young man, about 26 years old, a Hasidic Jew, came in and he sat next to me and he looked at my hat. It was Veterans Day, obviously. And he said, "You're a veteran. Well, happy Veterans Day." I said, "Well, thank you." And that's all he said for a second. And then a few minutes later, he said to me, "I have to go collect my luggage. Would you watch my luggage here for me, my hand-carried bags, while I go retrieve my luggage?" Well, it's an unusual request because, in the airport, they never leave your luggage with anyone. But he had barely met me, just spoken. And he went off for a little while, and then he came back with his check bags. Well, he sat down, and he and I struck up a conversation. And before I know it, 45 minutes had gone by, and he was just sharing his story with me. Quite an extraordinary story. And I was more than happy to listen. As it turned out, we were able to communicate on a level of personal level, dealing with feelings and what have you. He was such a nice young man that when he got finished, he says to me, "Listen, I have not spoken to anyone, not even my parents, the same way I've had an opportunity to talk with you. Can I have your telephone number and call you sometime to continue sharing with you or get some feedback from you?" And I was just so humbled by the whole experience. And so I gave him my information. We exchanged information, took each other's pictures. But then as I was getting ready to leave, because I had to check in for my flight, he got up and he gave me this hug. And he says, thank you. And as I was walking away, the other gentleman sitting across from me, who was going to lend me his card, he just gave me this big grin and says, I love that. In his broken English, he used Spanish, I believe. He says, I just love to see people in different cultures just hugging. He says, that's really cool. And so off I went and caught my flight and head here to St. Louis. So my neighbor came over, he brought some tools, and I had a few tools there. And he and I installed a new flooring in the kitchen, the dining room, and down the hallway, and it turned out fabulous. So here are a couple of pictures I'll show you along the way. And it was just a great job. So now I will stay here. I will visit some of the other grandchildren here in the local area. And I got to tell you one last story about being here in St. Louis that just warmed my heart. One of my granddaughters that I have not spoken to in several years, and I mean at least 6 years, butt dialed me a call. It was an accidental dial, and I returned the call. And she and I was able to chat for a while, first time in 6 years. And she had an interest in Barbados, and I was able to point her towards the videos that I'm doing. And it was such a warm reception. It was just a beautiful thing. So I'm looking forward to reconnecting with her, because she's next in line to make a trip to Barbados with me. I don't know, many of you might not know, but each time one of my grandkids hit around 16 years, I bring them back to Barbados to introduce them to their culture. And so her turn is next, but I never thought I would get an opportunity to bring her. So that was such a wonderful opportunity, and I'm hoping, just hoping that I will get a chance to do that. So listen, once I'm finished here, I'll be on to Seattle. When I get to Seattle, I'll be doing a few things there, but I'll try to keep posting some videos, because I've had a lot of things happen while I was in Barbados that I wanted to share, that I never got around to sharing with you. So I'm still on my journey, but I have to take a slight detour. So check in with us. Make sure you hit like, subscribe to the channel, and of course share the videos if you find some value in them. Thank you for watching Bajan Hotsauce videos, returning to Barbados.